Tangled up here. I don't know what I'm doing. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It is so good to see you on this Halloween morning, and this Stewardship Sunday morning, and this drizzly gray last day of October morning. It's our celebration Sunday. Welcome, 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 everyone, to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. It is so good to see you. So good to see each and every one of you. I want to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. We are blessed to be here together, and we acknowledge that the land upon which we meet rests on the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee people, the original nations of this land, who continue to call for justice and self-determination. I have a bunch of announcements today. First of all, next Sunday, we are changing our platform. We are moving our platform from Zoom to YouTube. And there is going to be, that's for the online folks. We're going to be improving our online service to you. And while we're talking about the online folks, let's all just turn around and give them a wave. Hi, guys. Nice to have you with us. So we're changing over from Zoom to YouTube to improve it for you. And the link for that new platform is in the e-blast, the newsletter, the website. It's all coming up right at you. And it'll even be on a slide in our old Zoom for a while. So we're making it as easy as we can to get better service to you. I also want to remind you that there's going to be a multi-generational Halloween party this afternoon in the church garden. There are treat bags, more treat bags, I just want to say. And if you haven't got your treat bag right now, there's some in the garden entrance just for you for this service. There's going to be a haunted something. I thought it was going to be a labyrinth, but it's kind of crummy outside, so it may be somewhere else. And there's going to be a fabulous drag queen storyteller, Figgy Puddings, at 1 o'clock. So come for the stories. Come one, come all. It's multi-generational. Everyone is welcome. I have an auction announcement. The third edition of UUCB's Fun and Fellowship 2021 auction catalog will soon be here, and it is not too late for any of you to offer a donation. The auction is not only a major fundraiser for the church, but also offers important fellowship opportunities. It's time to eat, learn, and laugh again together. Donations of events, artwork, planned gatherings, or culinary treats are welcomed. Pick up a donor worksheet in the parish hall today, and if you want to know who to contact about this, Julie Van Wert is standing at the back of the sanctuary, and she will wave at you, and she was the one to talk to. So don't miss out on the fun. Bid early, bid often, donate now. It's great. There's going to be fabulous things there. And finally, I think this is my last announcement. Tell me if there's something else. That's the announcement. I want to introduce Taryn Garrig, our soprano soloist and section leader. Come on up and show yourself. I don't drag everybody in front of the congregation, but to have a new performer is really important to acknowledge. This is Taryn, and she'll be with us, and she's going to be helping us out for our ministry in music for the next little while. This completes our staff. We now have a fully functioning staff for the first time in ages, and I am so excited. So thank you so much, Taryn. Welcome, 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 welcome all. It is good to be together. And like I said, if you haven't got a treat bag, y'all go and get one. Now we have a stewardship testimonial from Leslie Bolt. Come on up, Leslie.
Good morning. I was raised as a Protestant in the Anabaptist tradition. My family's faith was marked not only by a belief in adult baptism, but also by the Anabaptist embrace of pacifism. I sang in my church choir, attending regularly until I began university, where I discovered the writings of Sartre, Nietzsche, and a host of French, English, and German authors. As an undergraduate, I was truly ready to explore life without the guardrails of my religious tradition. Although I had stopped attending church, I continued to ponder what it means to belong to a faith community and to wonder why I was led to seek spiritual fulfillment outside the bounds of organized religion. I often encountered the sacred amongst the scenic lakes of Northern Ontario, or in the dizzying notion of our expanding universe. At that time, asking questions seemed to bring me closer to an experience of the divine than belonging to a congregation might have done. I ultimately chose SUNY Buffalo as the university where I would do my graduate studies. I never dreamed that decades later I would live here again, that I would truly fall in love with Buffalo's architecture, its people, and its host of cultural treasures. After obtaining my doctorate, I was hired as a professor of French studies at Brock University in St. Catharines, working there for my entire academic career. One year, a colleague asked if I would like to join a choir that was going to perform Rutter's Requiem in a beautiful Anglican church downtown. As music has always been a vital and guiding presence in my life, I eagerly accepted, enjoying the experience so much that I stayed on as an alto, singing with the choir every Sunday. I loved the music and the church's exquisite interior. My fellow choir members made me feel welcome. However, the fit was not quite right. In fact, there was a secret that I could not divulge. Having grown up in the Anabaptist tradition, I had elected not to be baptized at the age when this would normally take place. The emerging problem, as I discovered at my first service at this Anglican church, was that communion took place every Sunday and that only baptized persons were officially invited to take weekly communion. What was I to do? I couldn't remain conspicuously seated at the front of the sanctuary while my fellow choir members stood up in unison, solemnly descending the steps at the front of the sanctuary in order to approach the communion table where the priest officiated. They were all baptized and did not realize that I was not. Although I had attended a Christian church for many years as a child and young adult, I felt that it was improper for me to continue to take part in a sacrament that, for this particular priest, implied baptism. I eventually decided to end my association with this congregation, despite the music and despite the fellowship that had been graciously extended to me. This is where you come in. When I met my husband in 2005, he introduced me to this magnificent church with its stunning interior, its superb choir, and its wonderful minister, Reverend Joel Miller, who ended up marrying us. I will never forget walking into the sanctuary for the first time, thrilled by the sounds of the organ and the singers. I was truly floored. I had, of course, heard of Unitarianism, although not really much of Universalism, but had pretty vague ideas about what this faith tradition entailed. I still have a great deal to learn about its history, but I know this: I have found my church, one that draws from many wisdom traditions. In this congregation, I have found the right fit. To ask questions is supported, even encouraged. Reverend Joan weaves poetry into her insight-filled and inspiring sermons. She has made me feel welcome in her office when I needed comfort and advice. I am grateful to be part of this church's music-making community. My fellow choir members have become friends. I've grown as a singer, thanks to Jessie Downs, who, as my voice teacher, has shared her magnificent gifts with kindness and support. Jonathan Vogtel continues to astonish me with his piano playing. He performs everything with brilliance and sensitivity. I have been a member of the Governance Advisory Committee for several years, sharing monthly meetings with other committed and fine members of this congregation, and am now chair of this committee. I admire the policy-based governance model that this church has adopted. I love being in my small covenant group. We have supported each other for years and have shared moments of joy, fear, and grief with one another. Liz Park's Advent Spiral provides moments of intergenerational wonder that I look forward to every year. The Christmas Eve service, when I have been able to attend, is filled with glorious music, communal joy, and beautiful candlelit anticipation. At Brock University, my other home, the pursuit of knowledge was our common goal. At this congregation, however, I have found my faith community, one that explores the sacred through deep questions, deep listening, poetry, music, and a commitment to social justice. On this Stewardship Sunday, when we make our financial pledge, we are supporting a church with a unique and precious tradition, which, in the words of the UUA, creates spirituality and community beyond boundaries, working for more justice and more love in our own lives and in the world. Our pledge makes all of this possible. Your generosity keeps this tradition alive in this beloved community, in this beautiful and historic structure, and beyond its doors in the streets of Buffalo. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie, for your words. No matter who or what you are welcome here. Let's be clear. Here, we welcome goblins and ghouls, saints and sinners, angels and devils, zombies and werewolves, vampires and witches. We welcome princesses and princes, paupers and farmhands, aliens and astronauts, robots and cyborgs, firefighters and police officers, nurses and doctors, cowboys, cowgirls, cowfolk of all varieties. We welcome Superman, Wonder Woman, Black Panther, Batman, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Thor. Indeed, we welcome both superheroes and superstars. In short, we welcome people, monsters, and all other manner of creatures. Here, we welcome you, and all of you, and what you are. Come, let us worship. Each Sunday, we light a flaming chalice, the symbol of our free faith, as we worship together with each other and with thousands of others Unitarian Universalists across the world. So now please, as you're willing and able, rise as we light our chalice and say our affirmation. We gather in loving community, inspiring one another to transform ourselves to create a more just and compassionate world.
The witch had a cat and a hat that was black and a long ginger plait tied in a bow on her back. And how the cat purred and how the witch grinned as they sat on their broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed and how the cat spat when the wind grew so wild, it blew off her hat. "Down!" cried the witch. As they sailed to the ground, they searched for the hat, but no hat could be found. Then out of the bushes, on thunderous paws, bounded a dog with the hat in his jaws. He dropped it politely and eagerly said, as the witch firmly put the hat back on her head, "I am a dog, as keen as can be. Is there room on that broom for a dog like me?" "Yes," said the witch. As the dog clambered on, the witch tapped the broom, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the fields and the forests they flew. The dog wagged his tail and the stormy wind blew. The witch laughed out loud and held on to her hat. But the wind took her bow just like that. "Down!" cried the witch. And they flew to the ground. They searched for the bow, but no bow could be found. Then out of a tree, with an ear-piercing shriek, flapped a green bird with the bow in her beak. She dropped it politely. As the witch tied her, she dropped it politely and lowered her and bent her head low as the witch tied her hair back into the bow. The bird said, "I am green as can be. Is there room on that broom for a bird like me?" "Yes," said the witch. And the bird flapped on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the reeds and the rivers they flew. The witch, they shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The witch held her bow, but she dropped her wand. "Down!" cried the witch. And they flew to the ground. They searched for the wand, but no wand could be found. All of a sudden, from out of a pond there leapt a dripping wet frog with a dripping wet wand. He dropped it politely and said with a croak as the witch dried the wand with a fold in her cloak, "I am as a frog, as green as can be. Is there room on the broom for a frog like me?" "Yes," said the witch, as the frog hopped on. They sailed through the and the witch tapped the broom. I really was doing better in practice. The witch tapped the broom, and they sailed on. The frog jumped for, oh, Lordy, and wished they were gone. They sailed through the air, and the frog jumped for joy. The broom snapped in two, and that was not so good. Down fell the dog and the cat and the frog. Down they all fell, right into a bog. The witch's half broomstick flew into a cloud, where she heard a sound that was scary and loud. "I am a dragon, as mean as can be, and which with French fries tastes delicious to me." "No!" cried the witch, and flew higher and higher. But the dragon flew after, with breathing out fire. "Help!" cried the witch, as she sailed to the ground. She looked all around, but no help could be found. The dragon drew nearer with a glint in his eyes and said, "Maybe this time I'll have witch without fries." But as he began to plan his feast, from out of a ditch arose a beast. It was tall, dark, and sticky, and feathered and furred. It had 4 horrible heads and wings like a bird. And its terrifying voice, when it started to speak, was a yowl and a growl and a croak and a squeak. It dripped when it strode, and it squelched as it came closer. From the ditch. And he said to the dragon, "Buzz off, that's my witch." The dragon drew back as he started to shake. He said, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's been good to know you, but I gotta fly." And he spread his great wings and took to the sky. Down flew the bird, down hopped the frog, down crawled the cat. "Phew," said the dog. "And thank you, oh thank you," the grateful witch cried. "Without you, I'd be in that dragon's inside." Now, everyone, find something, throw something in, as she gathered her cauldron with a grin. The frog found a lily, the cat found a cone. I don't know why the cat found a cone, but that's what it says. The bird found a twig, and the dog found a bone. They threw the things in, and the witch stirred it well. And as she stirred it, she uttered a spell. Iggity, ziggity, zaggity, zoom! And up arose a most magnificent broom with seats for the witch and the cat and the dog, and a nest for the bird, and a pool
for the frog. Yes, cried the witch as they all clambered on. And the witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone.
Every week, we take a good portion of our Sunday morning offering and give it away to social justice cause outside of our church walls. This month, as we explore the theme of cultivating relationships, we are cultivating a relationship with the Kenmore Alliance Church by supporting their shelterless ministry. The ministers of the Kenmore Alliance Shelterless Ministry go out to the people who call Buffalo streets their home and minister to them by providing food, water, clothing, toiletries, and other necessities. To support our Share the Plate ministry, you can use the PayPal button by going to our website, www.buffalouu.org, and clicking on the blue Donate button. Or you can send a check by mail to Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo, 695 Elmwood Avenue, Buffalo, New York, 14222. You can also arrange to have a regular automatic deposit made with your bank. If yours is a gift to our Share the Plate ministry, please write share on the memo line of your check, and it will be shared between the Shelterless Ministry and the church operating budget. If yours is a welcome gift to our congregation, please write Pledge 2021 on the memo line. Either way, please write UUCB on the important line. And now thank you for your generosity. This morning's reading is titled Beyond Every Door by Molly Hausch Gordon. Who here knows the book The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Do you remember how Lucy Pevensey discovers Narnia? Lucy looks for the perfect place to hide and opens up the door to a big wardrobe. She goes through the door and into the back of the wardrobe, and suddenly she's in a whole other world, a magical world with witches and fauns and talking beavers. Wouldn't it be cool if there were a magical world beyond every door? When Lucy opened the door to Narnia, it didn't look like anything special. It was just a boring door to a wardrobe full of clothes and coats, but across its threshold was magic. Lucy already had a foot in Narnia before she quite realized what was happening. Many of the thresholds in our lives are like this. We don't know that we're crossing into another world until we're already halfway there. The door of a church takes us down a pathway of growth we might never have expected. The door of a doctor's office suddenly opens out into life with a hard diagnosis. And a restaurant door opens onto a first date and echoes forward into the relationship of a lifetime. A beloved person's door closes behind you and sends you out into the world heartbroken. The door to a library or a gym or a dance studio introduces you to a life's passion you might not have otherwise discovered. We cross these thresholds every day of our lives, for good and for ill, in joy, in sorrow, in bittersweet truth. Truly, even our own front door is a great threshold, no matter how familiar the worlds within and without may be. Given our lives' constant reality of constant change, every day we open the same old door again, only to step out into a world that is new since the day before. In this way, there's a new world behind every door, awaiting our discovery if we only encounter it as such.
So I don't like scary stuff. I am one of those people who has never watched a horror film, and I really have no desire to do so. I would no more sit in the dark to watch something I know is going to make me scream than I would put my hand down the garbage disposal. It's just not going to happen. I'm just not going to do it. I don't need possessed puppets or dawns of the living dead or serial killers in hockey masks to make my life any scarier. The world is scary enough just as it is. Thank you very much. So you can imagine that I have a fairly ambivalent relationship with Halloween, a holiday that celebrates the thin veil between life and death, skeletons, ghosts, and all manner of spooky beasts that go boo, boo, I have an ambivalent relationship with Halloween because, in spite of all of the very unpleasant thrills and chills and unknown frights that may appear at any moment, Halloween is also all about the candy. Yeah. Halloween is just one of those holidays that gives you the mixed messages, right? Trick or treat. So it shouldn't surprise you too much that when I was a kid, as the year was waning to its final harvest, in spite of my heart beating triple time in fear, I would brave the autumnal night air to venture forth with other hearty souls, fellow travelers, kindred spirits, all fittingly costumed to embark on the one and true quest to fill our pillowcases with treats, treats, treats. But there was this one house at the end of the block, right? There's always this one house at the end of the block. You know the house. I knew about the house. It was the same deal every year. Every year they had this whole haunted thing going on. You knocked on the door, but they didn't just open the door and say something like, "How adorable," when they saw me in my non-traditional and slightly unseasonable Halloween Easter Bunny costume. They didn't just open the door and then shell out the treats like any normal people. No. Every year they drew us inside, into their lair. Defenseless children that we were. We couldn't help ourselves. The pull of tiny twists of Tootsie Rolls and itty-bitty packets of Skittles was just too strong. They lured us inside, and there inside the house were all manner of terrifying beasts that leapt out from corners screaming, or swung down from the ceiling with ear-piercing shrieks, or called to us desperately from behind bars of deep, dark, dank, dead dungeons. Only then, only after this little Halloween Easter bunny had turned into a pool of quivering goo, did they hand over the goods and then show us the way out into the relative safety of the night. What a thing to do to a child. What sort of society even allows this? And you wonder why I have ambivalent feelings about Halloween. Too many mixed messages, too many tricks, and not enough treats. And I already said, I'm all about the treats. But you know, on reflection, when you knock on a door, you really don't ever know what to expect. Life is full of things that go, boo. You knock on a door thinking you know what's going to be on the other side, and you end up crossing into another world altogether. And you don't even know you've made the transition from one world to another until you're already there and there's no turning back. The door to the doctor's office suddenly opens into a hard diagnosis. A restaurant door opens into a first date and an expansive love. A beloved's door closes and sends you into a world of hurt. The door to a library or gym or dance studio opens you into a whole new journey of discovery. Even your own front door is a threshold, no matter how familiar the worlds within or without may be. The door to a church takes us down a pathway of growth we may have never imagined. a door into a universe of connection, inspiration, of disappointment, of conflict, of compassion, of healing, of honesty, and of power. The door of a church leads us down a multi-branched path paved in treats. The truth about Halloween, if you're the kind of person who keeps the lights on and maybe even carves a jack-o'-lantern to sit invitingly by the front door, the truth about Halloween is that when you knock on the door, no matter what terrors you have to endure along the way, even if you're dressed in the costume of a slightly non-traditional, non-seasonal Halloween Easter bunny, on Halloween, when you knock at the door, somebody is going to welcome you. No matter what tricks you find there, eventually someone is going to welcome you. You can open your pillowcase and there will be treats. I want to tell you something about this church. No matter who or what you are, or how many times you have knocked on this door before, when you knock on the door of this church, you will be welcomed here, and there will be all kinds of treats. This is the house at the end of the block that welcomes you and all of you. Every part of you that you hide away in hopes that nobody will see it. And every part of you that is in full display on your best and proudest moments. All the characters that make up the committee meeting of your soul are welcome here. The goblin, ghoul, saint, sinner, angel, devil, zombie, werewolf, vampire, and witch. The royal and the pauper and the farmer. We will welcome your inner alien, astronaut, robot, cyborg, first responder, superhero, superstar, and all other manner of creatures that make you, you. This is the house where you knock on the door and you, all of you, is welcomed. And there will be treats, treats, treats. This is the church where there's always room on the broom, and the more room, and more room, and more room for everyone. Sure, somebody sometimes might jump for joy in a new way, and something in our house will break. We fall, we tumble down, dangers, dragons of discourse and injustice lurk and skulk below, breathing fire and ready to eat us alive, with or without fries. But together, brave souls, fellow travelers, kindred spirits, if we all throw something into the pot, you can see this coming, right? If we all throw something into the pot, if we all throw something in to create the magic, casting the spell of transformative love together, we can create something new, something magnificently different, something that opens the circle of community even wider than ever before. If we all throw something in, we can and we will transform ourselves and the world. Today is Halloween, the most ambivalent of all holidays, when the veil between the life and death is at its thinnest. A day when we rightly ask, who are we? Where have we come from? What will the future bring? And what will we leave for our children as they come down the road? And yes, today is Stewardship Sunday, when the veil between who we are at the moment and who we will be in the future is at its thinnest. This is the day when we rightly ask who we are, where we have come from, and what we choose for the future, and what will we leave for the children as they come down the road. Our world is a very scary place. It is broken and imperfect. But your church, our church is a cauldron of transformation, a place that celebrates our blessings, honors life's passages of birth, marriage, and death, remembers our ancestors, forges lasting relationships, grows our minds and hearts, works for justice, and creates a legacy for future generations. But you know, this spell of transformative love that we cast over the cauldron, this cauldron that is our church, this spell that brings us new life and heals the broken and imperfect world, this spell only works if we all throw something in. And I have good news this Stewardship Sunday. I have good news to share. On this, our first day of the pledge drive, the day when we begin to raise money for the 2022 church year, I have good news. Our pledge drive hasn't even really begun yet, and we've already received from a handful of pledgers. We have already received over $78,000 in pledges toward our goal of $400,000. So yay for you. Yay. Yeah. Now, as I said, when we come to this church, you get all kind of treats, and some of them are more tangible than others today. You can, if you haven't got your treat bag, I do encourage you to pick one up. And you'll notice in your treat bags, along with fabulous Miss Eileen cookies baked with love, candles for your own liberal light, a UU evangelical magnet, and fair trade chocolates, and you will notice in your treat bag a pen and a pledge card. And that's a treat. And you may have even come to church with an idea of what you want to write on that pledge card. You may have even written something on a pledge card and turned it in, and I thank you for your generosity. You guys are fabulous. I am hoping that before you leave church today, you will drop your completed card in the gratitude box. You'll see one there at the end, and one there, and one in the garden entrance. And if you want to know what you pledged last year, Charlene Montgomery and Kathleen Burke, co-chairs of the Stewardship Drive, are here to help you with that. Are they around? There's one. There they are. They're waving their hands. All right. They can help you with that. And again, I thank you for your generosity. But I'd like you to hold off for a second. And if you've already written something down, you can rethink your pledge. I'm good with that. I want you to hold off for a second before you write anything down, because I want to tell you a couple of things. First, I want to tell you that almost all of the money that keeps things going around here comes from you, your donations. We get a little bit of money from rentals, a little bit from the offering plate. Fundraisers are always helpful. But really, the majority of our budget comes from you guys. A second thing I want to tell you is that our Pledge Drive goal of $400,000 will be just enough to keep things going the way they are. Is that clear? No big improvements, no staff changes. Bare bones funding for our mission and vision and programming, enough to support our beloved ministries of religious education, music, pastoral care, and social justice, just the way they are, and enough to keep our building from crumbling down to the ground, mostly. That is what our goal of $400,000 will get us. Not exactly a spell of transformative love, not a robust spell anyway. So I am asking you, if you want our church to truly thrive and live its values into its potential, I am asking you to consider to throw not just something into the pot, but throw something into the pot that matters. I'm asking you to truly own this vision of transformation. And I'm asking you to think about maybe increasing that number you had in your head, or maybe you've already even written down, by 10%. Think about that. Imagine if we ventured forth together, hearty souls, fellow travelers, spirits all. Imagine if we blew right past our limited vision held in our current budget, if we all threw something magical, something meaningful into the pot. Iggity, ziggity, zaggity, zoom! Imagine how much room there would be on the broom. Let's sing about gratitude. Let's sing about everything that is in our life, for all that is our life. Let us join our hearts and minds in a quiet moment of prayer, reflection, and meditation. For all the blessings which we have received, and the blessings which we ourselves are, may we be truly grateful. May we be committed to using our abundant gifts to make a difference in the world, to increase love and justice, to expand beloved community, to share and to keep sharing as long as we can. Let us open our hearts to this, our calling, and live accordingly. Today, we especially hold in our hearts Carol Condon, her friend Fred Turner, and Carol's children. Carol is in the last hours of her life. And now let us welcome into our sanctuary of compassion, memory, accountability, and hope the names of all our loved ones suffering in sorrow and celebrating in joy, each name a breath, and each breath a prayer. The breath of nature is upon us. The spirit of life is within us. The community of love is among us. So be it. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen. Let's join in singing The Fire of Commitment, as printed in your order of service.
And now speak with me the words as we extinguish our chalice. As we extinguish the flame of this chalice, may we carry its light with us into the world in the power of peace, faith, justice, and love.
I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till Jesus comes. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till Jesus comes. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna sing till Jesus comes. It was grace that brought me. It was grace that taught me. It was grace that kept me. And it's grace that will lead me home. I'm gonna pray till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna pray till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna pray till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna pray till Jesus comes. Can't you feel the Spirit move? Can't you feel it moving? Can't you feel it moving? Can't you feel it? I'm gonna shout till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna shout till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna shout till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna shout till Jesus comes. I'm gonna shout till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna shout till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna shout till the Spirit moves in my heart. I'm gonna shout till Jesus comes. Till He comes, I'm gonna sing till my Jesus, till He
In this community, we give and we receive. May we go forth now to share the bounty of our love. Remember, you are blessed. Remember, you are a blessing. And above all else, remember, you're not alone. You are never alone. So be it. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen.
Quel
Oh, this is Verity. I don't know what the